Good morning, Stackers. Here is your Monday market scan looking at gold, precious metals, stocks, digital assets, and more with me, Joe Main, brought to you by Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com, and Stormrake, stormrake.com, your full-service cryptocurrency brokerage. Get 2% brokerage fees for life. When you sign up with my thing, I'll post a link somewhere. Here is gold on the daily time frame, priced in USD $3,328 US dollars. The market is open. Let's have a look, pop on some indicators and maybe a little fake out right here. We always have to watch out for, as I say, they try to fake you out to shake you out. So we've come down to this uptrend line, and as usual, what they do is they try and fake you out. So some people would have been freaked out right down here. Now we have our lovely Fibonacci lines, right? From this high and this low and this one. Remember, I've been talking about this area right here, the zag zone. That's between 3265 and 3355. In particular, that 3355. We need to stay above and hold for a significant period of time in order to say, oh, new all-time highs in gold coming really soon. But we did talk about this Fib 500 level right here. That's at that 3,310 and this uptrend line. Now, it needed to be respected, but what I did say is watch out for little fake outs. Now, what did it do? It came right back down to this little support line right here at that Fib 500 level. And it's gotten a couple of people offside and they've gone, oh no, it broke the trend line. Oh, it's all over. And then they just go, thank you very much, I'll take that. So they're trying to fake you out to shake you out. Let's stay above that uptrend line. That's really all we need to see. Okay, so I'm cool with anything from about here, and it's gone right down to there. You can say with gold, and you can say with any chart really, that from a significant high and a significant low, you can get down into here. But I would just suggest if we had have broken down much further than there, that would have been not just a fake out, okay? Some people would have done some extra selling and really probably gotten out. Okay, so I'm glad that it's found support right there at that 3310 level. Now all we need to see is it get out of here. So what we want right now is something like this. Ignore the pattern, ignore the time frame, okay? But that kind of thing. So get above that 3355. It now finds support would be preferable, and then at some point, I don't know what it is, has to be before the corner, before the apex, because you never get to the very, very corner of it. It usually breaks out, or it usually goes up or down before then, so something like that. And then I think if you do that again, and you break out of this downtrend line, I think it's looking really good. And I would say a new all-time high in gold coming in just a very small amount of time within a few weeks. Okay, if not sooner. Then what we do from there, that remains to be seen, as I've been saying. Could it be just a short-term move and then back down, or just onwards and upwards we go? Don't know. We have to look at what everything else is telling us. But that would be very positive. So you could pretty much guarantee a new all-time high, obviously, if we break through that downtrend line. But really get out of that 3355 level and I'd be a bit more confident with that. Obviously breaking down through here again, 3310 wouldn't be great, and you'd be making a test of here. I'd probably guess at this stage one, two, three, fourth time would probably be a charm. I'd imagine it would be taken out this time. We'll worry about it when we get there, and we're just in a trading range at the moment. That's the most likely scenario, I think, though, in the upward direction. That is gold. Let's take a quick look at what gold miners. Gold miners on the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. Yeah, it's still moving onwards and upwards at the moment. Nothing to say it's completely, it's a death knell for gold miners, because I'm very bullish on gold and the miners in general. Why did I do that? I'll keep you and I'll keep you. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, look, we just need to get through that $54.70 mark and stay above it. Final hurdle, I think I've got there. I think it's a key Fibonacci at 55.20. So look, bullish on gold miners in the longer term, because I'm bullish on gold in the longer term. So don't stress about it. That is gold. Let's take a look at silver. Let's pull back and get rid of some of the indicators. This is silver on the daily, $38.08. So over the weekend, although I did a show on Friday, but we don't close the markets until kind of Saturday, roughly our time here in Australia, because you've got to give the US market, because they're so behind, we're in the future here. So we did see a move down Actually, I'll pop it on the 4 hour and put on the indicators for you. And what you see is we have had a bit of a dip, but that's okay. It's no big deal. Markets dip, markets go up, and markets go down. So from this low and this high, we did break through, and so far still below its zag zone, its normal expected support range. Okay, so that might mean, not 100%, it might mean it's correcting a slightly larger move. But if I show you on the hourly, here's what I've just seen this morning when I checked it. We've gone nearly into extremely oversold or undervalued, I should say, or oversold. We haven't popped in there yet. So look on the 4 hour time frame. You haven't been in extremely oversold on the 4 hour. Okay, and we're just talking the 4 hour. Buy and hold silver. You're great for the longer term, as we all know. But we haven't gone into there since June. Okay. I just want to show you the hourly though. I just find this interesting. We haven't yet, I guess, found a pivot point just yet, so we can't say it's 100% locked in. But so far, we have a double bottom on the hourly, but the hourly hasn't closed, okay? We have a rising relative strength index, okay? And it's already gone into extremely oversold already on the 1 hour time frame. It hasn't been in there that low since, geez, we're talking... Oh, again, that middle of June kind of area. So it's been over a month since we've been in that kind of very extremely oversold on the 1 hour time frame, and a potential double bottom here as well. So could we be ticking back up? What I'd like to see for silver is it get back up into this range. So see how we tested it, like exactly on the hourly time frame. Look at that. Broke down below, found support at this 0.786 Fibonacci, and then that acted as, isn't it amazing? Look at this. I just got to show you again the power of Fibonacci and these zag zones and all that, because look at this level right here. You'd go back into price history and go, where is that a major level of support or resistance? It's a tiny little bit here, but it's not there. It's not there. Why didn't we go up to there? Why didn't we go up to there? We went exactly to there. It's because enough people find Fibonacci levels to be predictive, so they place their trades accordingly, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we found it exactly there. So what I need to see, again, this is just the hourly time frame. Silver's going to $50, $100 over long term, doesn't really matter. But we need to see it get back into this zone pretty quick, and then quick smart out of there and back up through $38.80 roughly. That would be the perfect move. Chef's kiss, and then onwards and upwards we go. However, if this does still remain as resistance anywhere below here, and if it ticks below right there, then we'll say, okay, we might be correcting a larger move. Oh, that's cool, it's fine. So we go to the 4 hour, and we see what move could we be correcting a little bit lower. So I'll take it from here to maybe here. So we could be correcting that move instead. So what I'll do is I'll take that and put that there. So then no lower than, and that lines up pretty much exactly the top end now. So the bottom end of the previous zag zone is now the top end of that zag zone. So we need to at least get out of there. Again, that's at that 30, well, that's actually a little bit high. That's at $38.30. So you can get anywhere down to $37.50. That's the new bottom end. That would be great. A double bottom on there. That would actually be highly bullish if we did the following. Highly bullish would be the following. If we come down to and have a double bottom here at around about $37.50, and this is all just positing, okay? If this, then that. Then that would be highly bullish because, and if it bounces there, bounce off there, and then look at that, that's a much lower low. So an equal low and a much lower low on the relative strength index. And I would suggest on the 4 hour, that would push that into extremely oversold. That's a very bullish, hidden bullish divergence, okay? Equal low and then a lower low, that would be a really good setup. So I'd be actually watching for that. $37.50 could be a real kicker. And what it can tend to do again is it comes down to here. People go, oh no, it's over. We're back down to that area. We broke through here, and then it goes, ha ha, sucked in once again. So watch $37.50 really closely, in my opinion. Silver miners, not a lot to say. Again, I'm just bullish on it in the longer term. Yeah, there's a bit of bearish divergence happening here. So higher high, lower highs. Okay, so yeah, you could tick over for a little bit, but again, on the longer term, I'm not really worried. Watch out for some support here at around about $42.60 roughly, and I bet you any money you like, That probably lines up with some previous resistance. Oh, no, it doesn't. But it's close enough for jazz. So watch out for there at $42.60. That's silver miners. Let's take a look at platinum. We'll take a look at platinum. We're going to do the major stock market indices, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin and the general altcoin market. And I'll save individual altcoins for probably the X account at x.com/It's Joe Main. Here is platinum on the daily time frame, price in USD, $1,414 US. It is so far keeping support right there. That's a good sign. Okay, I have been leaning more towards heading a little bit further down, but while it's above right there at the 1,380, okay, indeterminate at this stage. So on the daily, if you crack and hold above here at 1,430, very bullish. You got to close a day. You got to at least close a day above it. Don't spike. Spikes mean SHIT. It's usually where you close at. So close above, or if you start closing below that 1380 level, then I'll say, okay, we're heading down to probably bare minimum 1,320. But platinum over the longer term, looking fantastic. As you all know, look at it. Look at on the monthly time frame. We're going to be breaking all-time highs in platinum, and we won't do the rah platinum on this little Monday market scan because you know the deal, how I feel about platinum at the moment. It's looking fantastic over the longer term. Just watch out for that little level that I spoke about. That is gold, silver, platinum. Let's quickly get to copper. Copper on the monthly. I'm not even going to show you the daily. I don't think I really need to. This is copper on the monthly. Is that all you need to know? Can I just show that chart, this chart, and you're done? Are we good? That's copper. Honestly, that's it, man. Copper on the monthly. Look at that. Long-term accumulation. That's your short-term accumulation we've broken out. Long-term accumulation back to 2010. Basically, it's done pretty much bugger all since, really, 2006. We've had about a 90-cent move between sort of 2006 and there, and now finally we've broken out. Okay, and if you're interested in getting into copper mining stocks, but you don't want to buy individual miners because you don't want to take that larger risk, bigger reward but bigger risk, then you could look at something like the COPX, COPX, and it hasn't broken out yet. It tried here. We went back down. Now we're back above. So look, above about where we are now, we're almost ready to break out, I think, on COPX general copper miners. That might be one to have a look at. I am not in it myself. I am looking at getting in. Not just ready just yet, but looking pretty good. If copper continues its run, then watch copper miners go eventually. That is all the precious metals that I want to do today. If you want to buy precious metals, which I know you do, head over to Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, best bullion dealer in all of Australia. Why is that? Well, because they have free shipping when you have 20 or more items in your order. Yes, no other bullion dealer in Australia previously, until Perth Bullion Exchange became a company in May of last year, and they're already just kicking goals. Okay, they started offering free shipping in Australia. It freaked people out. What do you mean free shipping? I spend $10,000. I can spend $500, $200, $300 because it's a quantity value. It's not a dollar value. I can spend as little as like $200, $250, and I get free shipping Australia-wide, express delivery, sign-on delivery, fully insured, all that stuff. Why is that? Well, because they chose to. Because they crunched the numbers and they realized, you know what? It actually is doable in Australia, despite every other bullion dealer not doing it ever previously, and they went, yeah, no, we're going to be the Mavericks. So they're the Mavericks on free shipping. Okay, go to perthbullionexchange.com.au, and if you want to be helped with, or if you think your friends and family need to be helped with getting into precious metals for the first time, and you don't have the time or you don't have the knowledge as well, maybe send them my way. So I do one-on-one private consultations. I'll put a link somewhere below to my consultation service. Okay, I'm helping clients save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by getting it right the first time investing in precious metals. So I do a 45-minute strategy session, and yeah, it's been a great time so far, and I've helped people, and it's been good. So I'll put a link somewhere below. It does cost money, but again, I will save you a lot of money. That's pretty much it for the precious metals. Let's take a look at the general stock market. Let's go to SPX. Let's take a quick look. Here is SPX. This is on the monthly time frame. Not a lot to say. It's still looking strong at this point. That's really all you need to know. On the daily, or take it on the weekly time frame. The general stock market is still making higher highs and higher lows, and not a lot to say. It's still moving onwards and upwards. This is it on the weekly time frame. So nothing to say. It is ticking over here, except for it might be in the excess phase right now. Okay, so I've been learning from Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com. We'll hear a little bit more about them quickly, about obviously the different market phases. You've got the accumulation phases, you've got the public participation phases, and you've got the excess phases. So on the weekly time frame, you can pretty much identify this as, and I'll pop this off for you. So here is and I don't have them all marked out exactly, but here is your accumulation range, and this is the one that goes back to 2000. Okay, so you can see just some equal highs, roughly equal highs and equal lows. So this was basically dead money for a really long time. Not until around about 2013 did we go into public participation. So we got out of the trading range, and then we finally started going up on the general stock market. Let me close you out. On the general stock market right here. Then we've taken a pause. That was in 2021, and then you've had a bit of a sell-off. Okay, normal, markets go up, markets go down. And now since we broke here, it looks like we're in the excess phase, and this is the phase which you'd preferably don't want to be in the longer term. Okay, well, but we don't know how much higher it can go. Now, I could be wrong on this, and many people could be wrong on this. That was the logarithmic chart. This is the linear chart, but it does look like it's in accumulation, public participation, excess phase, and excess phase is the one where it's kind of the mania phase towards the end of a market, and then you have a large move down, and it corrects the entire move. So to give you an example, pick a point. Now, we don't know. No one knows. Could it be right here? Could it be way higher? Could it be here? Could it be $10,000? I don't know, but it's in the excess phase, and it will probably burst eventually, not in the not too distant future. Okay, but on the weekly time frame, you're still looking good. It's making higher highs and higher lows, etc. Now, bear in mind, this is the American stock exchange, and we're not talking about all stock exchanges around the world. There's a good case to be made that the Australian stock exchange is going to fare a lot better than the American stock exchange over the next 5-10 years, roughly. Okay, but for example, when you get into the excess phase, you then correct the entire move. Okay, so that would be like this kind of thing. So I'm not saying we top out here, but as an example, that means you'd be correcting the entire move, and you could be correcting all the way back down to probably bare minimum that kind of level. Now that's if you ticked over here. So it could be higher. Okay, you could be correcting anywhere in this zone here. Okay, so just bear in mind that we're probably in the excess phase of the general American stock market, but it can go higher from here. Okay, so that doesn't mean you sell out of everything or whatever. Just know that you're probably in the excess phase at this stage, and you preferably want to be in things that are in rather in the public participation phase rather than the excess phase. And what's in the public participation phase? Well, certainly things like certain precious metals, silver in particular is one to look at. Platinum's in public participation. So you want to get out of the overvalued assets and get into the undervalued assets. Cool. But SPX can certainly have a bit more of a run. Cool. That is that. I'll just leave that as for the general stock market. Won't worry about the NASDAQ. Speaking of mastering the markets, head over to masteringthemarkets.com. Why would you want to do that? Well, I'm doing their 12-month course, don't you know? Okay, so I've started their year-long comprehensive course right here. I am now a student. I'm back at school. Okay. And what I do on the live show every Thursday is I'm going to go through what I learned this week. So if you want to check that out, find out what I'm learning about. I won't teach it to you 100%, but I'm going to go, this is what I learned this week. And it's my way of imbibing it myself and then using rhetoric to try and teach the principles to a general audience. Okay. And that means I'm testing myself to see whether I understand it. So check out the live shows on Thursday. I also go live on Tuesday as well, but live on Thursday, I'll do the what I learned this week. And of course, head over to the academy.masteringthemarkets.com. There's a free version, but then there's the paid version as well. Academy.masteringthemarkets.com. Join it for free, and then you might want to pay for the back end stuff, the backstage pass stuff as well. Let's get to Bitcoin and Kryptonium. Cool. Let's get to, I'm only going to do Bitcoin and the others market today, okay? Bitstamp exchange, yeah, why not? Let's do that. Fantastic. On the daily, yeah, close enough for jazz. Cool. Here is Bitcoin on the daily time frame, price in USD, 119,584 US dollars. Once again, we've been respecting, and once again, what do we say? I just love this stuff so much. It gets me so excited. Technical analysis and Fibonacci levels and things. Can you tell? Hit the big red subscribe button to continue to be excited with me. Because what did we respect once again? We respected once again the 0.236 from this low here of $98,000 roughly, the all-time high of 123,300. You have this low and this high. Now, you have the expected zag zone, the expected support range, but it doesn't mean it always gets there, right? That's between your $108,000 and your $113,000, $114,000 level. But look at this. We've been talking about this. The 0.236, we have been saying that it's been respecting it on a close level really well. We've been spiking down, but closing above, spiking down, closing above, a little close below, but it had a big move. And look at this, just over the weekend. Look at that, a big spike all the way down, nearly down to the top end of the zag zone, and that's at 114,500 US dollars. Closed the day above the 0.236. Really bullish, okay? This is saying that the buyers are in control of the market. It says that nope, thank you, and look where we are now. So we're not out of the woods just yet, but it's looking bullish for Bitcoin over the shorter term, medium term at the moment. I do think we'll probably, more likely than not, make a new all-time high in Bitcoin. We just have to get over a certain level, okay? So let's use, for example, let me get rid of this and this, and let's just posit for a second that we are heading just onwards and upwards from here. Let's assume that for a second. I'll take it from this high and this low. We just need to see that level we need to, it's almost right there, okay? We are flirting with it. So that's its zag zone, or you could call it the zig zone, okay? Because markets zig and markets zag. They go up and down, excuse me. Right here, we're right in that zone and we're nearly out of it. Now, interestingly, look at that big spike on the daily and that close on the daily time frame sits. Look at those spikes as well. Look at that support level. Those closes nearly closed there, nearly closed above. It's just right there. Isn't it interesting? Again, from this high and this low. So that's at 119,924. Let's just call it 120,000 even, can we? Between friends. So yeah, clear 120,000. Close a day above it, and preferably, yeah, we're probably not going to do that. But I tell you what, if we close this week, we've got another, you got another 50 minutes. What would be really good, and it might not happen, but what would be really positive if in the next 50 minutes, we close above 120,000. That would be looking really good, but I just need to see it start closing days above 120,000 preferably, and then we can say, okay, we're out of the zag zone, and then onwards and upwards we go to some higher highs. Where can we go from here? Sky's the limit. Why is the sky the limit? Because we'd be in undiscovered territory, undiscovered country, Star Trek 6. We're in price discovery. Okay, so really, I don't know. Some people are saying, 130,000, 140,000, etc. Some people are even suggesting even up to 200,000 US dollars, not even Australian dollars, US dollars in 2025, for example. That is on there, and I'll pop that there, and I'll pop that there. That's better. I'll pop it on the logarithmic. There we go, even better for you. So some people are even saying, look, 200,000 Bitcoin is still doable in 2025. As you know, Bisher from Stormrake, the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of Stormrake, made a really good case for $200,000 Bitcoin. That's that little dot right there by the end of 2025. That's on my channel. Watch that interview. So it's really, who knows, okay? But we just need to see it clear and hold that $120,000 level, please. And thanks. And we'll talk lower if we go lower. So that is general Bitcoin. Looking good for the moment. Just got to clear that $120,000 level. Let's do general altcoins, and I'll save individual altcoins for the X channel, x.com/It's Joe Main. Here is others on the daily time frame. $305 billion. We're not over the area that we really need to cross right there at $320 billion. But if we look on the daily time frame, yeah, look, we've been in overbought already. But what it can tend to do is do a little bit of a fake you out a bit higher, and then it ends up being a bearish divergence. Now, if anyone watched the Mastering the Markets or ASX Traders Sunday market scan on Mastering the Markets Academy, okay, again, that's a private thing, so any of those members watched it, he talked about the same thing, whereas you can have that bust through here, you can have that higher high somewhere here, but then it tops out, a little bit lower. So that's then would be a higher high on the price as such, on the market cap, and then a lower high on there. So that would be bearish divergence, but it can still break and make a little bit of a higher high. But you've just got to be careful around this area. That's anywhere between that kind of like $320 to $350 billion area. And as I've been saying, as many others have been saying, if you can clear through right there. Now, technically, that's at $346 billion. Call it $350 even if you want. If you do that kind of thing, go time for crypto. But just be weary around here. Watch out for that potential resistance or anywhere up to this kind of area, and you've just got to watch out for that. Again, the higher high, the lower high, that would be bearish divergence, and you wouldn't want to be getting in anywhere above here. I would suggest do not touch crypto for a little bit. Okay, that's just me. If you're looking for it the long term, if you want to day trade it, okay, you be the risky person you are and day trade it, but I wouldn't be touching it anywhere above here. If you wanted to, you could take a position, a small position, and make that, assuming you do that, and then watch for that higher high, then watch for that ticking over, and then take your profits. But depends on your goal, okay? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That is general crypto, and you want to watch out for that 350-ish billion to be broken and held, and then I will do a big dance on one of the live shows on Tuesday or Thursday and go, it's crypto time, and then we'll go through, all the ones that I'm looking at. That's pretty much it. And I won't do individual crypto because I will save that for the X account. Okay. And of course, if you want to buy crypto, which you do, and that's Bisher right there. That's Bisher, who I talked about before, the Chief Operating Officer of Stormrake, stormrake.com. If you want to buy crypto and you don't want to do it yourself, or particularly, and this is how I'm selling it to my crypto people. Okay. The way I sell it to crypto natives is the way I try and sell it differently to crypto novices. Okay, but for crypto natives, you watch my show, you're big into crypto, you buy on exchanges, you know how to do it all. But what about your normie friends and family who are either bugging you now or who will be bugging you later on when Bitcoin might, is at $200,000. Bitcoin's going to $1 million eventually down the track. Okay, I think you should I highly recommend giving them the gift of Stormrake, stormrake.com, full service cryptocurrency brokerage, and they do it all for you. It's like having an old school stockbroker where you can literally call Stormrake on their number. Okay, they're Australian based, but they also service the US as well. But you can call or email or put it in the chat or whatever, and They're like an old school broker. You just say, I want $10,000 of Bitcoin or XRP or whatever altcoins, that they do, and they do many. And then they just handle it all for you, okay? Literally. And they'll charge you a brokerage fee. That brokerage fee is 3.5%, except when you sign up with my link, and I'll put the link somewhere, you get it for 2% instead of 3.5%. And that's 2% for the life of the account. When Stormrake eventually raise their prices, which they might, who knows when, you've locked in 2% for the life of the account. And again, I say to you now, even if you think you can't convince your friends and family to get into crypto now, what about when they start asking you later on down the track? I would at least suggest to them, hey, just sign up for an account, okay? And lock in the 2% fees, and then 2 months, 3 months, a year down the track, you start buying. Cool, you've locked in the percentage fee, okay? It's great. So I'll put a link somewhere. You can also type this in the address bar of your favorite browser. And of course, it's completely tailored to you. They offer end-to-end support and personalized service to help help you make confident crypto decisions. So you can just call them or email them or whatever and say, hey, what's good today? If you're a complete beginner in cryptocurrency, they walk you through the entire process as well. Now, they can do custody for you, okay, if you want. You're also trading with confidence at the best price. So they buy, sell, and swap crypto with access to the best available pricing, no hidden fees, and no surprises. They do charge a 3.5% fee or 2% when you sign up through me. Use the link below. And they do safe and secure storage as well. Now, you and me, we're like, yeah, not my keys, not my crypto. Totally understood. You can even buy with Stormrake, and then they'll just send the crypto to you. Again, but for crypto natives like you and me, we're probably, it's easier for us to buy in exchanges and stuff. But what about your normie friends and family who are like, what's a hardware wallet? I don't want to hold all this stuff. Let Stormrake hold it for you. They can do cold wallets, etc. Or they can still send it to you as well. They'll send it to your nominated address. And maybe you can teach Stormrake will teach your friends and family how to do simple self-storage as well. So Stormrake.com is the place to be for crypto, in my humble, non-financial opinion. Finally, people, we do a synchronized slurp. We didn't do it at the start of the show, but you get to do it at the end of the show. This is where you grab a tasty beverage. I've got mine, you've got yours. We slurp them synchronously together. It's the slurp heard around the world. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good Monday morning market scan with me, Joe Main. You're watching Good Morning Stackers. I go live on Tuesdays and on Thursdays and all the other amazing stuff in between. Please follow me at x.com/it's Joe Main for all that individual crypto stuff and everything else I do there. Thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, stay informed. Keep stacking whatever you're stacking, and I'll speak to you soon.